Hey guys, welcome to our podcast where it has to be said. My name is Elvis.
And I'm Denise.
Babe, let's talk.
Well, first, I want to say that we made it to episode 10.
Woo, 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 woo.
I think that,
What that means, episode 10? Is it a good thing or a bad thing?
yeah, it means that we have been fairly consistent since we started the goal. Made it to 10 episodes in English because we do have some episodes in Spanish.
We need to show a little bit of love to the Spanish folks.
Yes, but we have to find a way to make it easier because I think one of the agreements that we had, was adamant about not making this feel like work. This to be an outlet and a space for us to be able to talk, have these conversations and kind of enjoy the process instead of it being stressful. So bear with us while we figure out what we're doing for Spanish.
Yeah, I feel like when we sit down, it's like, finally, right? But to get here is kind of all the hiccups come where our responsibilities, right? Because we get tired, truth.
Yeah.
But once we have the lights on, once we got the mics on, it's like, yeah, let's talk.
We're pumped. So we're thankful for those who have been with us from the beginning. We're only reaching episode 10, so you still have time to catch up. All of our videos are available on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And then our shorts are usually posted on TikTok and on Instagram. So make sure to follow, subscribe. It's free to just hit a like, share it with somebody. Maybe this is not your type of content, but you know someone that they might enjoy it or you thought of them. When you hear something, send it to them. So we appreciate that. All right.
And comment below, please. Thank you for the phone calls. Thank you for the text messages.
But we don't need that.
No, continue doing that because that is encouraging.
Yes, it is.
But just to help the platform, please just write in all the social medias that she mentioned.
Yeah, and I get sometimes a lot of the responses I've received are personal. So I get that you don't want to maybe put out your business, but just to
you don't gotta get personal. Yeah.
Just even one of these a little
or some eyes or something like that.
Stop doing the eyes, and they're gonna start thinking
Oh my
other
gosh,
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anyways, I bought this game, so I wanted to open with this today.
There we go.
It's called Date Deck. Okay.
Okay.
So these are the colors, right?
Okay. White. They all look white to me.
No, if you looked.
Oh yeah. I see the different colors.
So the gray is break the ice. Yellow is play it safe. 3 is let's get green is let's get edgy. Blue risky business, and the orangey red color is exposed. So you pick from one of those categories.
Okay.
And you're gonna answer the question.
Cool, no problem.
Or maybe I answer the question. I don't know what you think. You're gonna go to expose is orange.
I don't even know which one is which. I'm just gonna grab one to be honest.
The ones over here are more deep questions. Those are more simple though.
Okay.
Oh, I can answer that one. I already saw it.
Wait, this is a question for me or for you?
I don't know. I want to answer
How
it.
you guys want to do it? I wish they could answer us right away.
It said, what's your favorite show to binge watch, right?
Yeah.
Mine is Jane the Virgin.
I love too much shows. I don't have one particular one.
But binge watch means you could watch corrido.
I watch all of them
Yeah,
corrido.
he does. Must be nice.
Yeah, no, I love TV shows, so I don't have a preference in which one. I just like action.
Yeah, my go-to is Jane the Virgin, and
Yeah, you like novelas.
I saw it what is it, 4 times already, maybe completely.
I hate that voice. I hate that
the
voice.
narrator.
Oh my gosh.
It's like my comfort show. So whenever I'm feeling too overwhelmed, that's my go-to show for some reason. All right.
It gives you therapy.
So I'm gonna go to the exposed section. So these are the deeper questions.
Man, you just want to go
Oh
all
my
out. There you go. Go for the
God.
kill.
Dang, now he gonna answer this. How can I make you feel more loved?
No, wait. Who's asking to who?
I ask it to you.
Okay.
Or maybe I guess we can put
How? How could you make me feel loved?
more loved.
I wonder was that showing me love, giving me love, kisses, hugs, coquillita.
You asking me? You're supposed
No,
to know.
I'm telling you to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, some affectionate love.
All right.
Yeah, besides the sex and all the other stuff,
Stop.
I'm saying some
Yo.
affectionate love.
some like other than
Yeah.
sex.
Look, like last night, we were just laying down. I was just giving you a whole bunch of kisses, even though I was bothering you at the same time.
Because I was tired. I was ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, me too. But you gotta play
I know.
sometimes, joke around, and I don't know, be different sometimes.
Elvis is very physical touch kind of person.
Yeah.
So I guess I can try to continue incorporate. I try. Don't listen to him.
Yeah, I think it got in your head that you don't try. I think that's why you like that you're not affectionate, but I think you are. But I
Yeah.
think it's.
Oh, I'm just late. I think I just got comfortable.
I'm not gonna say that, but if that's what you're saying, then I agree with you. So
Like I'm just like
we should do that once in a while. Take out these questions and.
that's why I
yeah.
bought it. Because it's, just spark conversation.
So
Alright,
we
so
want to
physical
touch
touch.
we want to touch bases a little bit of what we spoke about last week, right? We got great feedback, which was about settling, right? That settling is not always
A bad thing.
necessarily a bad thing, right? But it also came. A lot of the topics was about a man and a woman, right? Because we're talking about settling in a relationship. And I started seeing a whole bunch of videos of women talking how a man should be, and they should be this type of way, and men should do this, and men should do that. So we started having conversations in the house
Yesterday,
about
yeah.
responsibilities, right? So
Yeah, because
let's start with that.
he was worked up. He was like,
No, I was being honest.
yeah,
I was being honest.
I'm telling you, like the phones be here, like listen to our conversations, because he's like, oh, I saw all these videos of like women. I don't know where he saw it.
I got
YouTube?
my phone over here. Watch it.
Was it
Watch it later
YouTube?
on.
I don't remember,
No, it wasn't YouTube. I'm never in YouTube
or
actually.
like a short clip.
No, I wasn't. I think it was like in Facebook.
Yeah. So anyway, so we were talking about that, and then because I also pulled out something in which it was like a guy interviewing a woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that in her opinion, like the man should be responsible for paying the rent. And in her example was he should be paying the mortgage, and I was like, "Yo, that's right. You should be paying the mortgage."
Yeah.
And that's when the conversation got a little bit spicy because he's like,
Go ahead.
he was like, all right, I'll pay the mortgage, but there needs to be a cooked meal every day.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
I mean,
that's what you
I'm
said.
the one. I'm the one that said that. Yeah, I think. Listen, if you're asking me as a man, right? Because now, I believe a big portion of females, a woman, want to set up the standard of what a man should look like instead of focusing of how a woman should look like, right? Because I truly believe that as a man, I have to work on myself first. And I believe that you as a woman have to work on yourself as well. But let's just go back to the topic, right? So if you want me to pay the entire mortgage, then I said, okay, babe, so that means you have to cook and you have to clean.
And I was like, if I don't work, yeah.
And no, but I have a job too. So
I know, but
it doesn't, just because I have work, that doesn't mean anything. Because in my standards is a man and a woman should work.
yeah, I guess.
So you're saying in your standards, a man has to pay the mortgage.
No, I was just saying I like
So
what
I'm
she
like,
said.
okay,
I'm like, yeah, that sounds,
Of course
logical.
of course you like what she says. You want to just, pay for everything. Of course.
Ideally, I would love that.
You don't see me saying, hey, do this, do that, do this, do that. I would say, hey, babe, could you help out on this? And that's about it.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Okay, so how do I say it?
You'll start like complaining or throwing like little passive subs.
Oh, I love doing that. Yeah,
So
I love doing that.
exactly. So how is that productive
Well, it makes you do it.
or positive?
It makes you do it.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
But that's not how it should be.
But it gets to you. The message gets to you. That's the important part.
Yeah, but then you got to change the way the message is being delivered.
But that's my whole point. Like, you want to dictate how I do everything, but yet I can't dictate how you do things?
What do I dictate?
You just told me right now that you want me to pay all the bills.
We were talking just about mortgage.
Okay, so you're saying that about me, so
but if
I
you
get to
paid
say
all
something
the
about you.
bills, I would gladly stay home.
That's what you're saying now, but I think nowadays it's just hard for a woman to want to stay home, or a man. I'm not gonna want to stay home, even if you made more money than me. It doesn't matter. I want to stay home. What you gonna do in the house? You're gonna be bored.
I guess. Well, if you have Alina now, you wouldn't be bored.
Well, you wouldn't want to stay in the house
No.
all day with Alina. That's the whole point. So it's like
I would not. I love her, but no,
I-
thank you.
I just think that, okay, we don't want to settle for this relationship. We don't want to settle for this person, right? But and again, this goes back to a woman wants to say, "Oh, a man should look this way," right? A man should pay all the bills. A man should protect me. A man should give me everything I need. But in this whole conversation, the woman doesn't even say not even one single thing of what that person is going to do as a woman for the man.
Yeah.
It's like, when is it that, okay, you're making all these standards for for a man, but who's making all these standards for the woman?
Yeah. But I feel like, I think women for a long time have had, I think both genders have had for a long time set expectations. But I feel like a pressure has always been on the woman, regardless of woman power now that you be saying and all this other stuff of how much we want equality. I feel
There's no equality. There's a double standard and all of that.
I know, but I still feel like for a long time, women have fought to be in certain positions and in the workforce, positions in home, given, rights, right? Like, for example, I'm reading this book, about like stories of the Bible, of women in the Bible. And these women went through so much. Like, the expectation was just for them to reproduce, right? To just create life, right? Birth life, raise life, and that's all they were known to be. And I think women through history have fought so hard to get out of just that maybe we have sometimes crossed a little too much over certain lines that weren't meant for us to cross. Meaning, not that we can't do certain things men can do, but now it's kind of like we want to dictate what a man should look like. And it shouldn't be in that capacity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like I can see why sometimes
it just bothers me because you don't see any interviews of men saying a woman should do this, a woman should do that. What interview have you seen of a woman? No, that does not happen.
I am pretty sure the people listening now can probably find you videos of men being how you say that,
back in the
masculine.
Day.
No, there's still men now. There's still men now that believe that women are. No, there's still men now that believe a woman is beneath them, even in ministry. Because remember, I told you a few weeks back that a Baptist church,
yes. No, I know in church,
cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, just because a woman was placed as a pastor.
I agree. In the church system,
but it's the same thing in the work field and at home. There's women just because
okay, so to put it this way, put it this way. It doesn't go viral.
Nah,
it doesn't go viral.
I disagree.
Tell me one video of a man saying this is how a woman should look or do, and you see all the dudes, amen, amen. No, no. You see all these videos of men saying, oh, yeah, this is how a man should be. And you see all the females be like, amen, praise the Lord, glory to God. Oh, yeah, that's a real man. And listen, I'm not against that. But there shouldn't be a double standard.
Yeah.
I think that each individual, as a man and as a woman, you should work on yourself.
Yeah, but I don't look for these videos, but I know there's videos out there. I'm pretty sure anyone listening could find a video real quick. Even when we finish this conversation,
post below a link.
We could find a video
see these
of
links.
Men talking about how a woman should be.
Okay. Will you date a person like that?
What? No, but that's where I was trying to go. That I think it upsets you because, you are a good man, right? It upsets you because it's like you want to hear the good credit given to the men that are good and doing what they have to do.
But that doesn't go viral.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the part that upsets you. I don't think it really upsets you about the woman posting, because we all have our opinions. We all have our opinions on what
I agree.
Womanhood looks like, what masculinity should look like, whether or not we should, it's valid or not.
Who does what? Yeah.
It's an opinion. We're all entitled to our opinion. We're all entitled to expectations. We're all entitled to our own standards, right? But I think what bothers you more is that it's like, we focus so much on the negative, right? We always focus on what is lacking in men, what is lacking.
I feel like we're getting hammered down.
And it's kind of like we don't exalt the good positives. A perfect example, Father's Day. One of my icks for me, like one of the things that I'm not crazy about, I don't feel for Father's Day, a woman should get recognition on Father's Day. It
No,
annoys me
no.
because regardless of you being a single parent, I'm not a single parent. I don't know what it's like to be a single parent, right? Thank God I don't. I have that privilege and that blessing to not have that, right? But you cannot take the place of a father for any kid,
Yep.
regardless of where you've been
And a
in life.
man can't take a place of a mother
Of a
either.
mother, you know, like, yes, you have to work harder, you have to sacrifice more to provide and be as much as you can present for that person, but you will never replace that kid's father, you know, from coming from someone who wasn't raised with their father. My grandmother did a great job raising me. She busted her behind, and been able to develop this great relationship with my mom, but they would never replace me having that lack of a father, right? That void was still always present, right? Some of my behaviors that I displayed, you know, in my teenage years and even early on into my marriage were a result of having that lack of a father. So when you know, that would bother me seeing that, because I'm like, you know, you don't take away that day is for the fathers that are there doing what they have to do. Point blank. Like, don't take it away, because, you know, there are men out there that do what they have to do, and they deserve to also be applauded. Because I think also I'm talking a lot, I'm getting heated, but I think also what bothers me too is I see a lot now, like, it's true. You know, I feel like as men, when men do simple things like going to the park, oh, he's such a great dad, right? I go to the park with a daughter, is expected of me, right? But and then, you know, we get upset that is, but I'm like, we should still give you guys credit. I mean, it's kind of like, it's like a double standard, and that is like, oh, don't give him too much credit, he's doing what he has to do. The sad reality is that there's not many doing what they have to do as fathers.
Well, a lot of them, listen, a lot of them are scared too. You know, a lot of these men, they don't want to commit with a female because they have a lot to lose. You know, if they break up with that relationship, who stays with the kids? Who has to pay child support? Who stays with the house? Who stays with half of his money?
Yeah.
Right? So think about it. A woman, what you bring to the table, you're beautiful?
Most of us work nowadays.
No,
Elvis.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying in general, okay, how about us? We're the ones that have to bust our behind to bring everything. And I feel like as men, we have to kind of prove ourselves all the time, but then we can't do certain things. If not, we get judged. For example, if I cry, oh, he's not a real man. He cries. He's showing too much emotion, right? Or, oh, no, if I start complaining about something, you say, oh, stop being a girl. I'm not saying you do,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying in general is a double standard. So you're saying that a man can't show emotion?
Yeah.
No, I should be honest about my feelings. And I'm not saying that all men out there are perfect, but I'm not saying that all men out there are bad either, right? And if you're looking to build a relationship and trying to have a person right next to you, you shouldn't bash them all the time because that person is just going to stay away.
Yeah.
And even if you're having problems in your current relationship right now, study. Are you hammering this guy down all the time? Are you letting him breathe? Right? Because a lot of relationships are together and they expect the guy to clean, to cook, to provide, to pick up the kids. It's so much high standards, but the guy needs a break, right? Because you do a lot of stuff, but there's going to come times where I have to step into a table and do things that you do that you just don't want to do right now.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're in a relationship, you guys both have to help out each other.
Yeah.
And you guys are both going to have to grow with each other at the same time. Not judge who does what or who does more. Because there's never going to be a balance.
Yeah, but there's also relationships that don't have that, Elvis. That's really like...
Yeah, but you develop that over time.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you guys are just starting together and all you're doing is, oh, yeah, that's how you have to be. That's a real man. And you're just telling him like, oh, this is what you should do. No, let him learn what he has to do and let him examine himself and see what he has to change, right? The same way you should as a woman. Wait, is this man truly valuing me as a woman?
Yeah.
Right? Because if you have somebody next to you that doesn't value you, then that's the mistake. You have a man he's never going to value you unless he freaking changes.
Yeah. So I guess I think it just comes down to being graceful to one another.
Yeah.
Because I mean, what else can you do? Because there's relationships that don't have. I know there's no balance, but they don't have that
But we wasn't all.
agreement.
But we wasn't always like this,
No.
right? This took time.
But every year, and we had different phases too
Okay,
in
yeah,
our
that's true.
relationship.
Like every other couple is gonna have different
You
phases
know,
as well.
like at the beginning, I didn't work. I was just doing undergrad school. And so I was able to be more present home. You know what I mean? Now it's kind of like a little bit reverse where I'm out most of the day, all week, and you get to be more present at home. So I think that also plays a role into who does what. You know, it's not about who does more. It's just sometimes you're going to have to do more because I'm not accessible or available.
Yeah, and it's not even about doing stuff either. It's also about what we could do for our relationship to grow every
Yeah.
time as much as we can, right? Because a lot of people go into a relationship having kids and then they base their own relationship off of those kids only. But when those kids grow and they leave,
Yeah.
that's it. You guys two are left alone. So we kind of have to figure out a way of we got to work on each other because soon they're gonna leave. And if we're just based on our relationship is only based on our kids, then when they leave, then we truly don't even have a relationship.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's your relationships are just always complicated. There's always so much opinion, so much thinking, so much compare. It's hard to not compare. Not that you want I don't compare. I don't
We
want you to
barely
be
compare. We
but I'm
barely
saying it's
compare.
hard to not look at other things and be like, "Oh, can this be different?" You know, like it's hard to not because everything is so accessible now with social media,
Yeah, social media
the
is
internet.
the number one thing that is
You
like
might need a break because you were getting a little worked up about women's opinion.
I was
Yeah,
going that
yeah, yeah. We
crazy.
got a little, yeah, you got a little intense.
Yeah, I think I was
But
thinking we were in the podcast talking.
but I think it just upsets you because you don't see that applicable to you.
That's true.
I think that's really what it comes down to because but sadly, Elvis, that's the case. You know, there are men who don't pick up the slack, who are not considerate of their partner, regardless, because
Yeah,
for
but I
whatever reason.
okay, I agree and I disagree because there's also a lot of women out there that abandon their kids.
That's true.
They're not good wives. They don't clean. They don't cook. They don't provide. They don't show motherhood. So why we don't talk about that? You don't see that getting exposed or people talking about that.
But also, I feel like I think women naturally.
You know the system. This is something
Place.
that you work in.
I know, but I feel
So
like women.
have you ever seen bad mothers where they don't, and you don't have to mention
I
details,
wouldn't say.
but
I would. You know what it is? Stop it.
let's talk about that. Yes.
There is bad mothers.
Okay.
Like people I have worked with as of late, I don't think they're bad. They just have had a bad life and so continue to make poor choices. Like I think that they have the ability to be the best that they can as a mother. It's just because of certain life choices, certain histories, certain trauma that they're unable to because of that, all the negative they've had is what they know. So I feel like that kind of makes me a little bit less judgmental towards mothers than, the
To
average.
fathers, than to fathers.
No, then just too much because you're talking about mothers,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
That makes me a little bit less judgmental towards them because I see it in that perspective versus someone outside of my what I work in maybe hears the story and says, "Oh, that's a bad mom. That's a piece of crap mom. A piece of a crap of my mom. Esa no vale nada, whatever, like all this stuff, But it's like when you see all the pieces, and I think that applies to men too. When you see all the pieces of someone,
Hallelujah.
you can see why sometimes they make the decisions they do.
Yes, I think it's easy to judge from the outside to really without knowing the whole story. And I think
Yeah.
that's where we lack, especially in social media, because something happens and they put, let's just say, half of the video and they're easy to judge. But then when you look at the whole entire video, you know, why that person did what they did or acted the way they did. So
And it doesn't justify, right? Because there's
absolutely
certain
not.
things you do that are wrong that it doesn't justify, but it helps you kind of understand. It makes that person human to you, right? It's that humanity part, that compassion part that you can have for somebody else when you see, I can see how they may have been led to that decision. Because ultimately, you can judge someone else, but you won't know what you would do
No, that's
until
true.
you're literally in those shoes.
Agree.
I can judge someone's situation and say, oh, if I was her, I would not do this and that, or if I was him, I would do this and that. But until you're in that predicament, you wouldn't know, right? So even like in our story, I don't know if you've been looking at the TikTok, but the TikTok post about you going to God and wanting to be a better man for me. All the women, oh, that's a man, some of them share a little bit of their examples, but I'm like, I wonder if they ever put themselves into perspective in their relationship to see if maybe they're expecting without also putting out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's my whole point. It's like, and let's just take a man or a woman out of the equation. I think us human beings in general,
Mm-hmm.
right? We have certain expectations of a relationship, right? And we don't even put in the work for ourselves, man. It's the same thing for God. Oh, I want God to do this. I want God to do this. I want God to do this. But I don't commit with God.
Yeah.
I don't make a change. I don't go to the church. I don't look for the word. I don't try to discipline myself to be perfect. Listen, when you come to God, you're not going to be changed from one day to another,
Mm-hmm.
right? It takes work, it takes time, and then what happened? People convert to God and then it doesn't work because they expect everything to change
Like a
immediately,
microwave.
and and it doesn't change. And what they do, then they start talking bad about God. Oh, I tried that didn't work
Or
for
that
me.
it's gonna get
Yeah,
easier the
but
moment they
there's
they
no
seek him.
commitment, and they come with the expectation for you to go inside of a church, and it's like a microwave where you come out nice and warm and everything in your life changes. No, it's a consistent um process of growth. Even now,
Mm-hmm.
we've been in church most of our life, and we're still trying to do good with God. God, take away more from me and let me do more of what you want me to do. Align me with your purpose. Let me be the man of God you want me to be. Let me be the father that you want me to be. Let me be the leader around wherever I am in life, to be at least a beacon of life, to give your word, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's every day. But what happens? Sometimes we wake up and we're dismotivated. That does not mean that I don't love God. That
Yep.
just means that you're human and that you got to go with that same dismotivation to God and say, God, here I am. I have no motivation.
Here I am again, God.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
true.
But we don't think that way because all we think about myself, I, and we don't think about those around us. And I think when we change, right? Because in the TikTok, a lot of people spoke about me all wanting to seek God, like you mentioned, but it's because I changed my mentality. I don't even do the things I do now for me only. I do it because everybody around me is going to be affected in a good way. And this is within the church, within the family, within my job. I love my job. I love my coworkers, everybody that I speak to,
Yeah.
management. Now, the job is not always easy,
Mm-hmm.
but when I bring that positive energy to the group, that everything changes because everybody was negative, but I come in and everybody's happy,
Yeah.
right? But we create that. And the only way you can create that is by making the change within, right? Even our kids, look at our kids. We expect them to be perfect, to not make any mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
What are they seeing in you as a father? What
Yeah.
are they seeing in you as a mother? Oh, that you want them to only listen to Christian music. Are you putting Christian music only?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want my kids to drink. Are you drinking? Oh, I don't want my kids to smoke. Are you smoking? It's like we have this expectancy of everybody around us is going to be who I want them to be,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't need to make any change.
Yeah.
This all begins with you. Oh my God, I spoke a lot.
So that's crazy because it is true. And I think that, since you mentioned God, I think when it comes to God, I think we all focus on the do's and don'ts, right? And this is a set way I have to be, right? We quickly go into this relationship with God also with expectations,
Yep.
right? Usually the expectations are also, like you said, one-sided. We only go with
Always,
expectations
always,
of
always.
what he can do in our lives and what is beneficial of our lives. The same way with every relationship, we look at the benefit of what am I getting out of the relationship, which is realistic, right? Because I mean,
That's okay. Yeah.
why would I be in a relationship that I'm not gonna benefit from?
Mm-hmm.
But I need to also deposit, like, right? Because we both have our needs. But I think with God and the thing I love with God most, and I always talk about like in my IG and when I do post stuff, is that God cares so much about what's in here, right? Like, so when we go through things in life, when we have our differences, he really cares about the matters of our heart, our condition of our heart, how our heart is, how are we angry, what are we carrying, what are we building, what are we doing, right? So when you're thinking about relationship with God, you got to think of that. So being able to come forward and kind of like reconvene and say, God, I'm not doing the best in what I should be doing, or I'm sorry that I failed you, and then taking that step to move forward the same way in relationships. And I think that a lot of it also is we haven't had the best examples sometimes in life, and we project that experience with those people towards our relationships with people, but also with God. I think that sometimes we place, oh, I didn't have a good relationship with my father, so we don't portray him. We're unable to experience God the Heavenly Father because we had a bad or not a great earthly father that tainted our vision towards, fatherhood. And I think that also kind of bleeds over to our relationships too, you know? So I think that in reality is we all have expectations of relationships. And we all have to find, I think, a balance in our relationships. That's really what it comes down to in every capacity, whether as parents, whether as a couple, whether as co-workers. There's expectations
In every
in
relationship.
every relationship that we have now. Are they realistic? And I think that if we take more of the I need to focus on myself approach, not in the I gotta focus on my needs, but focus on what I can fix and what I can change, right? Because if I focus on only what Elvis is doing, then I'm never gonna really reach my potential or my capacity because I'm so focused on what he's doing, not doing, lacking, and I'm not focusing on where I need to get ahead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like we gotta focus on ourselves in the sense that we have to grow, right? Because I can't expect certain things from you if I'm not putting out. And I think I spoke about that last week too. Um, but that was just something I kind of wanted to reiterate.
Yeah. And even if, we're talking about a lot of relationships, but even if you're not in a relationship, right, and you're looking to be in a relationship, I think when you also have that high level of expectancy and you don't find it, it's also because are you really being realistic with the expectancy of what you want,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if the guy is good or the woman is good and she has the majority of the things you want and you think is worth working for the other things that you want, then give it a shot, right? Because that's why you see a lot of people that they have such a high standard that they never find nobody.
Yeah.
And I think that you're not going to go into a relationship and the person is going to have everything you want.
Yeah.
It's not.
But when is it too much of giving a chance? Because
Listen, if he ain't hurting you or she ain't hurting you, she not cheating, he's not cheating, they're good people. Everything else could be developed.
uh I guess. But if you don't click, you don't click.
Oh, that too. But what if you do click?
If there's no chemistry, if there's no
I'm saying for somebody that does
connection, you know what
have
I'm saying?
connection but doesn't have everything else, and that you expect him to have it out the back.
I don't know, but isn't that settling like in a negative way just to say
No, settling in a negative way.
because you're good guy, let me just stick around with you. I mean, you don't.
Well, if this good guy is giving you everything you want, then you want to think it
So then what's the problem then?
that you don't want to try the relationship because your expectancy are so high.
Give me an example.
Okay, let's say this guy's a provider. This guy, you guys do click and you guys do have a relationship. I mean, you guys like, um, and everything works out. You guys meet up and stuff like that. But there's something about him that you're just not sure yet. So that's why you don't want to commit with the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you're never gonna know what this thing is or this like gut feeling or stuff like that until you actually try the relationship out. You got to give it a chance.
Yeah.
Because if you don't give it a chance, or even let's just say simple, if the guy makes less money than you, oh, that's a no-no.
But he does everything else.
Yeah, you don't know 2 years from now he's making more money than you.
That's
we
true.
were at a point in life where you wasn't making anything, but then we were at a point in life where you technically were making more money than me, right? You was. And then I made more money than you. And then I'm waiting for you to make more money than me. Come on, hurry up. I'm still going to work. I'm not going to be a house dad, but I'm just saying that.
That's true.
I see what you're saying. You got to give it a shot.
I see what you're saying.
You got to try, right? You can't. It's crazy because, look, right? Most people, we're
doing the touching now?
Yeah, we could do the touching. Yeah, we got the camera far out. So, it's crazy because most people won't give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
Check this out. Most people won't give it a shot to somebody that they have like a feeling or they're not sure or they don't know if they want to commit. Yet they would rather be with somebody that's not willing to give them everything they want. Like they're not willing to marry, but you believe in marriage. But I know eventually he's going to change, or I know eventually she's going to say, or for example, they don't want to have kids. Yeah. Oh, I know he'll probably change his mind later on and want to have a kid. Oh, I know she'll change because it's also the female sometimes. Yeah. I have a friend that his wife doesn't want to have a kid. And then you get in that relationship and you eventually think that the person is going to change. What if that person doesn't change? You can't hold a grudge for that person. You got in that relationship knowing that it wasn't going to work. Or the conversation I had last time. Some people would rather be with somebody that is eventually going to get divorced. You don't know if they're going to get divorced.
Yeah.
You would rather risk with that instead of trying with somebody completely new that probably doesn't have everything you want.
But it's still good.
Right? So where do we settle? And where do we adjust our standards to make ourselves happy?
Yeah. I like that.
That was a good conversation.
It was. I'm here thinking.
Yeah, you're processing everything, right?
Yeah, because you went from like...
We talked a little bit
we were like, oh, no, woman power. And you're like, no. And then we went to...
I don't think this is about a man or a woman. I think that people always want to sexualize everything of a man or a woman. And the standards, again, double standards, in my opinion.
I mean, these things exist, right? Because there's conversations everywhere you go about it. Everyone has their opinion of what a man should do, what a woman should do. I think it's kind of like we should shift our focus on ourselves in the sense like let's focus on what I can bring as a person.
Yep.
And then when you're in those relationships in whatever capacity, friendship, family, whatever, then learn to have conversations as to what you expect from that person, right? Just because, just because I don't cook every day, that doesn't make me, and Elvis would like for me to cook. Him telling me, oh, you're less of a woman or you're not a woman, right? That's not going to get me to want to cook for him.
Yeah.
If anything, that's going to make me be like, all right, forget you. Like, I have to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Now I know.
No, I'm just I'm trying to think of an example. I couldn't think off the back like you. But I'm saying that if we focus on ourselves and what we can bring to any relationship and learn how to express and communicate what we would like, I think we'll be more effective.
From the very beginning.
In that, right? And learning to identify. Because if we learn of ourselves, we start to learn, okay, this is what I really like. This is what I really want. And that way, when you're in a relationship, you know what to to ask. And if that person doesn't deliver after some time, then it's like, all right, this is
Yeah,
not for me
I tried.
because
Yeah.
I tried, and you know, you're not respecting the things that I want in this relationship. Right now, when you're married, it's a little different. It's a little harder because you're kind of in this legal bind, and it's like, you know, I made this commitment for life, so
I'm pro marriage, so that's going to be a little difficult. I think if you're not getting physically abused or verbally abused or cheating, um, or what else? What else? Things
there's
drastic,
emotional neglect, being neglected.
neglected. But sometimes people don't even know that they're getting
So I can't
neglected.
divorce you because you know, you don't cook clean for me every
No, I
day,
don't think that's
or
a
because
justifiable
you don't rub my
reason.
feet every night. That
No,
you don't think for you that
no,
doesn't that
no.
doesn't make the cut.
I don't agree with that one, and I don't agree with this one. I don't love you anymore.
What?
I don't agree with that one. Why? What took you to a place of stop loving that person? Number one. And number two, why don't we revisit the place where I started loving you? Why do I start from the very beginning? Because I didn't love you since the very beginning. I learned
Yeah,
to
we were
love you.
strangers at
I
one
didn't
point,
meet you
right?
and say, "Oh, I love you." No, that didn't happen like
That did. I
that.
think that happened with
No, that
us.
did not happen like that. So it takes a process for everything in life. And I think out of everything we're talking is all about self growth. How could I be a
Growth.
better growth? How could I be a better person?
Yeah.
And
I don't
every
know. We're gonna have to leave that one for another one. I'm kind of curious to see if,
no, we'll talk another one on that one.
because that whole
We
falling
we
out of
spoke
love one.
no, we'll talk about that one. And if you guys want us to talk about that one or any other topic, leave a message and we'll definitely talk about it. I think today we kind of went over the minutes, but here we are. It was a good conversation and
Yeah,
it had to be said.
and it was sad.
Take care, guys.